Hello, so I'm going to be just talking a little bit about the piano technique, which I employ for the hands. This is just using the left hand, and it's going to demonstrate how I anyway place the hand. I think it's and how I operate the hand. So I think it was. I think his name is. His name is. Oh yeah, Leonard. No, Seymour. Sorry, Seymour Bernstein, who's on YouTube. He used to be anyway, and maybe he still is, on a program called Tone Bass, which used to have the excellent Ben Lowdy, the excellent pianist and teacher. I'm not sure if he's still on that, but anyway, in one of the videos he talks to Seymour Bernstein in his usual very professional way. He's an excellent pianist as well. And anyway, Seymour Bernstein speaks about how important it is. Basically, he says that there are two sorts of pianists. One who basically puts the hand down, sort of concentrates perhaps on putting the hand down, and one who takes it off. It's more an off. Each maybe chord, unless it's obviously not to be done this way, ought to be a process of the hand being taken away, lifting up, rather than putting down. And by the way, Bernstein has one of the best recordings I've ever heard. It sounds like a golden age recording. It's his recording of the Chopin B flat minor, is it? Nocturne, the number 1 nocturne of Opus 9. And I've never heard it played better. So please listen to Seymour Bernstein's version of that. Anyway, this is a bit of Schumann from the Papillon, number 3. It's just the left hand part which opens it. Basically, when I was taught by my teacher from the Beethoven and Tchaikovsky line through Nikolaev, there wasn't too much emphasis on the hand that I recall. There wasn't too much emphasis on the body posture, really much at all. My other teacher, who goes back to the Chopin line through Haskell, is Peter Feuchtwanger. There, it was simply being natural, is all he sort of said. You've got to be natural, and don't try to have. There's got to be no tension, basically. And he's got a series of exercises, excellent exercises, as to how to promote that. And apparently he helped Marta Argerich to win the Chopin competition in 1965. I can't remember when it was. But anyway, he was an excellent teacher. And so this is it's got a little bit of his, the way I play it uses a little bit of his naturalistic technique. I'll see you in a bit, Mother. I'm recording something down, okay? I'll be 5 minutes. Can you give me 5 minutes, little one? Good boy. So there's a little bit of just trying to be natural, which is, I suppose, from Feuchtwanger, from Peter, was a really nice man, but apart from that, there's no real technique that I want to demonstrate particularly, except just how to be natural. And there's a very interesting video by, I can't remember his name, but it's also, I think, on Tone Bass. Someone who comes from from the Moscow, from the Russian line, and he says how his teacher anyway also didn't. He said there was no particular. She said rather there was no particular technique for the hands or anything like that, and she proved this by using a pencil on the keys in order to do this. If I would do it with a pencil, the way she does it. I can't remember this pianist's name. In his video on I think it's on the Tone Bass again video series, he says how his teacher taught them all how there's no real technique of how to position the hand or anything like that. She used a pencil with a rubber on the end, perhaps, maybe not, to play the following bit, and hopefully I'll play it well, but probably I won't. But I'll give it a go. Here we go. So, so you can't hear it. Jamie, can you give me a pencil with a rubber on the end, please? See if there's one on Joshua's desk. Can you have a look? Go on, have a look for one through. It's got to have a rubber on the end, an eraser, yeah. Anyway, I'll play it with I'll play it with this, and excuse the clacking. Anyway, it didn't work too well there because this hasn't got a rubber on the end, but obviously the teacher used a pencil with a rubber on the end to show that there's no real hand technique. Anyway, messed up my piano now. But anyway, yeah, so this is Papillon. I think it's opus number 2 of Chopin, and it's played best by Tiffany Poon. I think she's the best pianist for Chopin, and indeed for pretty much all the composers amongst the young generation of pianists today. She does excellent. David's Bundler-Tanzer. She does all of them very, very well, and everything she plays is really great. So I'd really recommend her. But now I'm going to play how I've heard her play the number 3 of Papillon, and it's using the technique that I learned, as I said, I think from my 2 teachers. No technique, basically. So, but that's the as far as I remember, that is the Nikolaev method. No method was his method. And Nikolaev goes back to Tchaikovsky through Tanev, and Tanev also goes up to the line to Beethoven, and then Peter Feuchtwanger goes to the line of Chopin through Clara Haskell, who he knew very well. Thank you, darling. Bring it here, my love. Has it got a rubber sticking out at the end? Yes, it does. That's so clever. Okay, so I've now got a thing with the rubber. So here we go. I'm gonna try this technique, Jamie, that one of Chopin's teachers called what was his name? I can't remember his name. Dubois, something like that. He was Chopin's teacher, and he taught somebody called he taught, what's his name, or maybe it was he taught this person called Dubois or Dubois or something, and he taught Alfred Cortot. That's right. And Alfred Cortot taught Clara Haskell, and Clara Haskell taught Peter Feuchtwanger. So there'll be a bit of this, but I just want to go through this first. Wait a second, please don't go into the film, my love. Okay. How's it going? It's a bit too clacky. Let me try again. And this is a very hard rubber. Yeah. Never mind. We can't find it. Jamie, could you find me another pencil, please, James? Why? Because this rubber is as hard as rock, darling. You got the one pencil which has a rubber as hard as rock. Okay, so here's the Schumann, the left hand. I think it goes like this. So just you have a very natural weight. You just use all the weight. In fact, if you do it properly, you're able to just let this hand go, and this hand will fall, and it will make a massive sound. Okay, you've got to let all your weight, get all the tension completely away, and you're able to produce a sound like Horowitz. And Peter Feuchtwanger also had a lesson from Vladimir Horowitz, and only he's able to get that fortissimo sound. And I think that maybe Peter Feuchtwanger's technique has something to do with Horowitz's technique. I don't know, but that produces such a massive sound if you have no tension in the arm at all, or in the elbow. And you just let go your hand, it will wham down against the bass notes of the piano to produce an incredible sound. I won't do it on this because it's an electric piano and I'll break it. You know, but try it yourself. Get someone else maybe to hold your hand and move it a little bit, you know, like a puppet. And then you've got to make sure that you've got no tension at all, and then the guy will, or the woman will let go, and it goes falling down with a massive force.
This is the only one.
Thank you, darling. Brilliant. Let's see. It's also quite hard, but it's a bit better. Thank you, darling. Brilliant. So that's another thing. But here's now this technique with the rubber that chap, like Russian guy on tone bass, says about how he also says that technique, there's no real technique to be taught, because she said even with a pencil this can sound very good. It won't sound great when I do it, but if you are a good piano player, you'll be able to do it really well with a pencil. Nice little thing to show people as well. Okay. Right, see then, you take that away. I'm going to just do that all again because I've forgotten how to play it. This is from the first concerto. It's from Chopin's #1 concerto, the first movement, which is actually written after the second concerto. They were both written, I think, in the same year, which was about 1829 or something like that. And it was just before he went off to Vienna, and then I think he came back to Poland, and then he went away again for a second tour somewhere, and he didn't come back. I think he went second tour to Paris, yeah, and he didn't come back after that. And by the way, there's a story that Rachmaninoff met Leschetizky, who's the teacher who goes back to the line of Beethoven. He was a contemporary of Liszt. I think they knew each other. Leschetizky met Rachmaninoff in Vienna, and I think it was in 1915, if I'm not mistaken. Could you turn it down, please, Jamie? It's really good, but turn it down a little bit, okay, darling?
Okay.
Thank you. You play really well. You're playing excellently. Okay, so yeah, apparently Rachmaninoff met Leschetizky, and I think Rachmaninoff dedicated the one of his pieces anyway to him. But yeah, the variations on the theme of Chopin. Yeah, that prelude, you know, as it goes. One of the preludes, anyway, yeah, variations on that, and he dedicates it to Leschetizky.
Daddy, come and look at this.
I will in a second, darling. I'm just going to finish this video and then I'll be with you. Is that okay? Okay, so give me 2 seconds. Okay, so I've gone on and on and on, and I'm finally going to try to get this Schumann piece. I talked about that weight thing. By losing all tension, you're able to get that weight that Horowitz is able to acquire. Somehow Peter Feuchtwanger got hold of that idea, and he may have learned it from Horowitz. I don't know, it may have been Peter's own idea. He's got lots of ideas and lots of compositions of his own, which you can see on YouTube. You can see him teach as well there. Okay, so but I'm not going to put any. I'm not going to try for any fortissimo or anything like that. I'm just going to try to do the natural way that both Peter Feuchtwanger taught, I think, and although he does have many exercises about technique, but it was all basically about being natural, fundamentally. And also the Nikolaev technique, which, as I understand, there's no real technique. So it's, for Nikolaev, as far as I understand it, it's mainly about being culturally aware about all sort of art forms, and being very well educated, and yeah, that's very important in the Leschetizky lineage. But then again, in the Nikolaev lineage. But then again, Nikolaev also has a book of piano technique, like Peter Feuchtwanger. But they both were concentrating on being natural, and in a way, there not being any technique, as far as I know. Okay, so with all that said, this is my version of of that papillon number 3 with the kind of techniques of the natural hand technique. The natural shoulder just be natural, and there's no particular technique. Here we go. So I didn't play that like how it sounds, but I was trying to focus on the being natural technique there. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.